Hey everybody, what's going on? Hellmite here, bringing another video from Grab the Lantern today. Today I wanted to talk about the future of Legends of Runeterra. This is of course a part of the big announcement that Riot made on Monday that discussed the future of the company. In case you hadn't heard, I will have the article linked in the description, but the TLDR is that Riot are adjusting for high-risk gambles that didn't pay off, mostly due to company mismanagement in my opinion. And the practical upshot of this is that there are three major changes. The first of which is that Riot fired 11% of their workplace, which is 530 positions in total, which is already pretty miserable enough. However, Riot Forge is also dead. They are no longer going to be creating Riot Forge games, and Legends of Runeterra is, quote, moving toward sustainability, end quote. There's some other fluff about putting games at the center of what we do, but that's more up for interpretation and can't really be discussed in a meaningful manner in a video. And now, while I could make an entire video about each of these things individually, I wanted to focus today on Legends of Runeterra as the game is very near and dear to my heart. I have been a card game fan since I was little and getting into things like Yu-Gi-Oh! And so I was exceptionally excited when Riot announced Legends of Runeterra, a card game that was also themed after League of Legends, one of my favorite video games of all time, that also was going to have an emphasis on story. That was awesome, and I could not wait to get my hands on it when it was announced, and I even made content for it once upon a time that I'll link in the description in case you guys are curious about watching me play really, really badly over the course of a couple of patches. And though I haven't played it constantly since release, it's always been a game that I've enjoyed, and make no mistake though, while the announcement today is bad news for Legends of Runeterra, I wanted to talk today about why it's not the end of all things where Legends of Runeterra is concerned, and give a little context about how we got here. First, I wanted to address the main thing. Runeterra isn't dead. If Riot wanted it dead, they'd say so, and the Legends of Runeterra devs on Twitter, those that still have a job at least, have confirmed that it is still going to be around. The LOR Invitational, I believe, is still happening later this month. Right, like there's all sorts of things that are going to be okay for the game. Instead, the announcement specifies that the game is moving toward sustainability. This is corporate speak for finding a place where the amount of money that Riot spends on it is equal to or less than the amount of money it makes. Now, this could be the beginning of the end. Legends of Runeterra obviously isn't doing so hot financially, and it now has a smaller team, and it will likely continue to receive little marketing support, but it's not dead yet. The announcement does state that the devs are going to be rebuilding the game around the Path of Champions, which I think has a decent chance of paying off. Path of Champions release coincided with a doubling of Legends of Runeterra's player base, and at one point the game mode accounted for 80% of the game's total playtime, which is like insane when you consider how much the game like tries to tell you that's not the core part of the game. In reality, it kind of sort of is. So clearly, this is a tremendously popular game mode, and refocusing on that game mode specifically may be the ticket for Legends of Runeterra. That said, the biggest concern for me is the possibility of new card sets. If the downsizing or focus on Path of Champions comes with fewer new cards, I think that there's very little that will save the game in the long run. But first, I wanted to discuss Legends of Runeterra's marketability and, more importantly, profitability, because I feel like a lot of players don't realize that Legends of Runeterra has never been financially successful. The letter from Legends of Runeterra's former director, he also got fired, makes this case. I'll have it linked in the description. But to sum it up, Legends of Runeterra has been getting subsidized by Riot's other games basically since launch. And you might be wondering how this is possible when Legends of Runeterra sells so many different kinds of products, but when you really break it down, none of these products are particularly compelling for the people who actually play the game, right? Like, boards are nice, but realistically you only want / quote-unquote need one, unless you're angling to have each region's unique board, but like that's a lot of money, so most people aren't going to do that. Card backs, also nice, but less necessary in a digital card game. And the fact that the game's regional rewards gives the player up to 10 unique card backs by just playing the game, it's sort of hard to justify buying backs. Guardians are a neat touch, but they aren't required to play the game. I never even remember they're there half the time. And champion card skins may seem good on paper, right? Like, when you think about League of Legends and League of Legends skins, you're like, that's literally how Riot are making billions of dollars. What do you mean skins aren't working? But think about them how they apply to Legends of Runeterra. In LOR, skins only go on up to 3 cards in the deck, and you may never see those cards, and even if you do and play the card, there's a very high likelihood that it just eats a removal spell instantly, and then, you know, that fancy skin you paid $15 for isn't actually doing anything. In comparison to League of Legends, where if you buy a skin, then I can play it in every game, right? From minute 1 to minute 40, I'm looking at that skin and experiencing that skin. So, like, as a result, none of these products are particularly appealing to players, which means that they don't get bought, which means Legends of Runeterra doesn't make money. So then, you might be asking yourself, how do digital card games like Legends of Runeterra make money? The answer is gambling, or more appropriately, they sell you packs. This isn't inherently predatory, and most of these games do provide wild cards or some kind of generic resource that help you buy cards a la carte as well, but it's certainly less player-friendly than what Legends of Runeterra does. Legends of Runeterra basically said, packs don't exist, instead we basically just throw free stuff at you for just playing the game, right? Like, regional rewards are a huge source of cards for new players, weekly vaults can provide a bunch of, admittedly random, cards for free, as well as a guaranteed champion card or champion wild card based on progress, and if you want to buy specific cards, you can get shards or wild cards from either of the other two categories very easily to allow you to just buy whatever cards you kind of want. Riot doesn't even let you buy packs. Like, if you want a card or a playset, you just buy it with in-game currency, wild cards, or with real cash if you want. There's no gambling here required. And so as a result, like, Legends of Runeterra chose the player with their monetization option. But that means they don't make any money, because how card games make money is they sell you packs, and Legends of Runeterra doesn't do that, which kind of shot itself in the foot when it came to sustainability, but, like, is a good thing for the player base. So then how do you fix this, right? How does Legends of Runeterra become sustainable if it really took a different approach to things, and if what currently they've tried doesn't work? There isn't a clear answer here for me, but there are a few things I think Riot can consider. First, they could restructure the game's economy to include packs. This would be a pretty nice change as far as monetization goes, but would also coincide with a massive outcry from players who've enjoyed a remarkably generous game up until this point, and there's no guarantee that this would even work for Riot, even if they did do it. Like, I certainly wouldn't start buying packs just because they added the option, and I would probably play less if they were, because they would also have to say, yeah, so you don't get as many shards or wild cards, and other things we do are going to go away because we want to force you to buy packs. I'd say, no, alright, I'll stop playing, or at the very least, I'll keep playing, but I'm not going to buy your packs, Riot. Secondly, Riot could try to find products that players are willing to regularly buy. Currently, everything that Legends of Runeterra has tried to sell hasn't really paid off, but that doesn't mean there isn't something out there that players want. As far as products for regular gameplay goes, I can't really think of anything. Like, once you've covered mats, card sleeves, and I guess guardians, there isn't really much else for players to want, but there could be a chance for players to buy things for Path of Champions. Maybe players can buy individual relics or champion shards a la carte, or even purchase entire unique adventures with a certain amount of money. If they're already focusing on Path of Champions, they may as well try to monetize it in a meaningful way. Finally, Riot could try to market it better than they currently are. Right now, almost every other game Riot has is marketed better than Legends of Runeterra, right? Like, League of Legends, obviously, is Riot's flagship. They're always marketing the hell out of it. TFT is in the League of Legends client, so you know it's there. Wild Rift is just League of Legends for mobile players, so if you market League, you're effectively marketing Wild Rift. Valorant is an interesting one, but I feel like the shooter genre is just so much bigger than the digital card game genre that it sort of doesn't need to. If you're looking for new shooter games to play, you're probably going to hear of Valorant through the grapevine, versus Legends of Runeterra, where the card game community, I think, is much smaller than the shooter game community, but I may be wrong on that up front. I think that Riot could make a bigger push to help players realize that the game is there and try to spend more time to showcase it, right? Like, the Legends of Runeterra Invitational is coming up, so why not advertise that in the League of Legends client? We already advertise things like the LCS, the LEC, and even TFT Invitationals in the League of Legends client. Why not say, hey, Legends of Runeterra is on this weekend, go watch it, gamers, and get excited about the card game, right? I think there's possibility there, though I admit that this is probably a distant third because it has had marketing that just hasn't paid off. At the end of the day, Legends of Runeterra's immediate future is secure, but I think its long-term prospects do look grim. And despite it all, I hope Riot are willing to try and find a way to save the game, because I really, really don't want this game to go under. I think it's great, and honestly, if you're watching this and have never played it, I urge you to give it a try. I'm not saying this just because I'm Runeterra pilled. I do think it's legitimately a good card game, and it is extremely approachable. But that's my thought, you guys. Let me know all your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video today, go ahead and leave it a like. And if you really enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. I upload a video every Monday, Friday, and on patch days as well. Once again, thank you guys so very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I'll talk to you all later.